Welcome to the Matchday Highlight Show. My name is Anton, and you're back with the West Ham Network. You've just witnessed West Ham draw. Does it feel like a defeat? Does it? It kind of does. I don't know. We've gone so long by playing so well and getting victories over the line, and you're now witnessing West Ham draw at home against Brighton. But do you know what? Is hindsight a wonderful thing? I'm not so sure. Get your comments in. Let me know your thoughts on that result. We're going to go through the game, and we should have some guests coming on live from the stadium as well. But we are going to go through the team as we go along. So I'm going to jump into the chat and see what people are saying first before we go through it. The Hazard, just like the old West Ham, but the new West Ham is still there. Fair play. We grinded. We grinded out the result. I mean, Brighton are a good footballing team. They are a very, very good footballing team, and I've got to give credit where credit's due. That's exactly what Graham Potter's done. He's absolutely transformed them as well, as much as what David Moyes has transformed us. Bob Claret saying irons, hit the like button, people, from Happy Hammer. Thank you for joining us, Happy Hammer. Dabs is saying Sufal was my man of the match. Long Dark Tunnel said, how did we lose that? Theo is saying, how did Antonio's goal get called offside? I really don't get it. Neither do I. I need to dissect that particular goal. Happy Hammer says Sufal was 10 out of 10. Bob Claret, we didn't. Mandy G saying Fornals hit the bar, bone inches wide, a goal that had more checks than a drug lord at Heathrow, which got rolled out 3 days later, just cursed against Brighton. Absolutely, you make a valid point. We could just be cursed against Brighton. But on top of that, though, Mandy, there were several other opportunities, and fair play to Sanchez. He kept him in it. I didn't think he was great in the first half, but he did actually keep them in it as the game was going on. Daniela is saying, yes, we dropped points, but everyone dropping points, but we do have sort of this team thing, much out possession in the games, but 14 shots on target. Anyway, we'll go live to the stadium as we speak. Still, how are you feeling about that, mate? Yeah,
can you hear me?
Fine. Yep, can hear you.
Well, let's be honest, lads. If we play like this against Chelsea at the weekend, we're going to get absolutely mullered. We were poor. We were poor from the start. We thought getting an early goal might have given us the edge, but we just seemed to be asleep. And Brighton are a good team. Brighton controlled the game. I mean, it felt as if we were playing Man City all over again. They controlled the game. They were patient, really good passing and movement. You can't fault them. You can't fault them for the style of game that they played, but they outplayed us. I'd love to see the stats. I bet they had something like about 70-80% possession.
They are a phenomenal footballing side. That's something you've got to give them credit for. What Graham Potter has done to them, I mean, it has never warranted why they got booed last week. Nobody actually understands why they got booed last week, because they're a good footballing side. Still, Trossard, he absolutely dominated playing in the middle of that park. He just completely did it. Basuma, who's not had the greatest of seasons this season so far, he dominated play in the middle of the park as well. But like you said, we just went at the races today.
Well, we weren't at the races, but this was. We talk about how poor we were against Wolves, but we almost got away with it today with the early goal. But this was probably on par with how badly we played at Wolves, and this was at home, and it's a real concern because, as I said, this is just a few days before we play Chelsea, and. Yeah, Bizuma was good. They controlled it. The guy on the left-hand side, I don't know his name, the little guy with the big afro. Cucurella. The amount of space that he was getting on the ball was incredible. Yeah. And they kept plying the ball over that side. They used their wings quite well. I'm trying to figure out if they were playing like a 3-5-2. It looked like they probably were, or 3-5-1-1. But they used their wingers really, really well. We just weren't closing them down. I don't know what was going on. We just they controlled it. You've got to give them credit where credit's due. They absolutely controlled the pace of that game from start to finish, literally. Yeah. And I think they were probably surprised that they went a goal down, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they probably were, to be honest, as well. But I mean, was there any spark for you when Lanzini came on? Do you not think he changed the game a little bit for West Ham?
That was the only spark. Lanzini got stuck in there the way neither Benrahma nor Fornals was doing. Lanzini, I will be very, very, very surprised if he doesn't start on Saturday. And I know people are talking about Lanzini being more of an impact player, but I think maybe, you give Lanzini the first hour, and if it's not working out, then you change him. But he was getting his foot in there where none of our players seemed to want to get in. Declan was doing it a bit, but even Declan didn't have the best of games today. No, but who did? We were Jesus. We were riding our luck. We rode our luck throughout the whole game.
But I'll give you the stats for the game: 67% possession to Brighton, to West Ham.
Well, that's surprising. I thought it'd be a lot more.
There was big moments of possession that Brighton had in the game. So the stats were coming up in the game. The last 10 minutes they had 85%. Not the last 10 minutes of the game, but they were doing 10-minute segments. 85% possession to Brighton. But West Ham had 14 shots, of which 6 were on target. Now I slagged off Sanchez in the first half for Brighton because I felt like he was a bit of a calamity. He liked taking risks, but fair play to him. Still, he did keep them in it. He really did. He made 3 superb saves.
He made 3.
Oh, I think we are losing Stell. I think we are losing him. If he does manage to come back on, we'll bring him back on. But there are so many comments coming through as well, so we will jump on to them as we speak. Oh, there's still games getting played, so I will bring up the table for you when the games are finished. But yeah, for me, when we look at the starting lineup, let's take a look at it now and see it. I wasn't massively surprised. I mean, I think we were on the Matchday build-up show, preview show yesterday, and I said that I felt like Johnson would have played at the right back position, and Soufal would have played at left back, but that didn't happen. Let's bring in Stell again. Anything else you want to add to that, Stell? I mean, how do we bounce back from 2 losses and a draw? Or is a draw progression? Is the Wolves performance crap? We don't get a result. The Man City performance a little bit better, but we don't get a result. Brighton a little bit crap, but we get something from nothing.
If that's the only thing you want to take as a positive, then I'll go with that, because I don't see that. I mean, I don't want to start slagging the team off because that's we've had such a great season, but good grief. What's the positive? Yeah, all right. The positive is we didn't lose. The positive is that we kind of we were winning 1-0 until, what was it? The 89th minute they got that goal.
You can't deny what a goal it was. And what's disappointing about that goal, even though it was a bloody brilliant goal, was the disappointment, in my opinion, it was actually down to Dawson, because he's a commanding defender and he just tried to hold up Mapai. And if anything, he held him up so much that it allowed Mapai to get the opportunity to do the bicycle kick and put it in the back.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't.
Oh, I think we've lost Stell again. Russ, you're joining us, mate. How you feeling?
Bloody Brighton.
We just can't do them. We just can't get them done, mate. It's just. Oh, I think we're losing. Oh no, we've got them back. Yeah, we just can't get them. We just can't get the 3 points, can we? We just can't get the 3 points. Oh, I've lost DJ Russie B. Hopefully he'll come back in a second. But so many comments coming in. Toby Sampson saying, effing bullshit, that goal shouldn't have been disallowed. Benrahma is crap. Masuaku's opponent just isn't good as we think he is. But I don't actually understand why the goal was disallowed. But I'll go through the game. If the lads come back on, which they are. Stell, what was your thoughts inside the stadium of the disallowed goal?
Oh, well, you know damn well when it takes half an hour for a decision to be made, it's going to be disallowed. But what was really frustrating was they were checking for a foul, and then after about 3 minutes, they were then checking for an offside. And was it offside? I couldn't see from the angle I was at, to be quite honest with you. But we knew damn well that because it took so long, that it was not going to be given. If that was I thought they were going to get over this rule of trying to take so long to. I thought they were going to make more snap decisions and go with almost instinct or whatever. Because by taking as long as they did, we knew it'll be disallowed. It's going to be obvious. Obvious.
But the thing about the goal is, I mean, you're talking about margins here, but this margin, I mean, I literally couldn't see it. If I'm being brutally honest, I mean, they showed the replay on the telly so many times, and I could not see it. Russ, I don't know if you got a chance up in your box area where you are to see the replay of the goal, the disallowed goal.
Yeah, it was all about Antonio's leg. First VAR check on the foul on Dawson to see if that was a foul, and then after that, they then did a second VAR to see if the ball had touched Antonio's leg as it came through from Dawson, well, from Duffy really, and Duffy did it into the end. But it did. But it did obviously just like literally finished like it.
Yeah. Still, what do we do then moving forward? We've got Chelsea. Is Lanzini the man? Is he the man that comes in?
There's another player that we need to drop on Saturday, and people aren't going to like it, but it's Antonio. I'm sorry to say, he's been non-existent now for the last 3, 4, 5 games, and if we don't drop him on Saturday and play with a false number 9, I think he's going to give us yet another lacklustre performance.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't in the races all game, and I think Lanzini should start. It kind of, I don't want to pick on Masuaku because he looked all right, but I didn't quite get why he wanted to bring Masuaku on. And lo and behold, the goal came from that side, the left side. You know, so if you're putting Masuaku on to provide more defensive cover on the left side, then that's what he ought to be doing. But it started from that side. So, but Lanzini starts. I think Antonio's got to be. I'm sorry, I know we don't have an alternative, but I think Antonio's got to be dropped on Saturday. Yeah. I really do.
People in the chat are saying here, I mean, Maldenhammer saying agree Antonio's been crap. Gary J says, I don't typically slate our players ever, but Antonio was trash. Victor Fenn, I mean, Stell, talk to me about Benrahma's performance tonight. I mean, thing about Benrahma for me personally.
Poor.
Well, the thing about him for me tonight was the thing that only kept him on the park was his tracking back. Because he was tracking back at several times. But apart from that, Stell, he found himself in several positions. Mate, he was crossing the ball into no one. He was passing the ball to no one.
Yeah, we were all players were doing it. Even Declan was guilty of passing the ball to no one. Benrahma, unfortunately, he's now. There you go. Someone just said he was shit. You know, I'm sorry to say, but he's not turned up. We need players. It's not just Antonio who needs to be 100%. We need players to be on it. Fornals has looked a little bit rusty. Antonio looked awful. Benrahma has looked extremely poor. I think, in all honesty, though, if you ask me who was the poorest between Antonio and Benrahma, I'd say it was Antonio.